Imagine this. You wake up in a world where every question has an answer, but none of them satisfy you. The scientists point to data, the priests to scripture, and yet the gnawing void in your chest remains. You stand at the edge of a cliff, staring into the abyss of your own mind, and realize both religion and science have failed you, not because they are wrong, but because they are incomplete. They offer certainty where there should be wonder, dogma where there should be doubt. Here's the paradox. We cling to these systems because they promise meaning. Yet the more we rely on them, the emptier we feel. Religion hands us a script, a pre-written story of sin and salvation. Science reduces us to algorithms, neurons firing in predictable patterns. But what if the truth lies in the tension between them? What if the failure isn't in the answers they provide, but in the questions they refuse to ask? Consider the weight of this moment. You've been taught to kneel or to calculate, to pray or to peer through a microscope, but never to simply be, to stand naked before the universe, unshielded by doctrine or data, and ask, what if the search for meaning is the meaning itself? Think of the last time you felt truly alive. Was it in a church pew, reciting verses you'd heard 1,000 times? Or in a lab, reducing joy to serotonin levels? Or was it in some unscripted, unquantifiable moment, a laugh shared in silence, a sunset that defied explanation? That's the crack in the facade. That's where the light gets in. Religion tells you to surrender to a higher power. Science tells you you are the higher power, a cosmic accident with delusions of grandeur. Both, in their own ways, erase the mystery of being human. One chains you to tradition, the other reduces you to a biological machine. But what if you're neither a sinner nor a statistic? What if you're something far stranger, far more terrifying, free? This is the great question. Why do we demand absolutes in a universe that thrives on ambiguity? Why do we seek salvation in scrolls or equations when the real revelation might be the seeking itself? The tension is unbearable, isn't it? To stand between heaven and the microscope, neither offering the solace you crave. And here's the unsettling truth. This isn't just about belief systems. It's about you. The way you shrink from uncertainty, the way you hunger for answers like an addict for a fix. Religion and science are just mirrors, reflecting back our deepest fear that we might have to face the unknown alone. But what if that's where the magic begins? You've been lied to, not by malice, but by necessity. The human mind cannot bear too much uncertainty. It will invent gods, theories, or even algorithms to fill the silence. This is the hidden problem, our terror of the void. Carl Jung called it the shadow, the part of us we refuse to acknowledge, the chaos we exile from our tidy narratives. Friedrich Nietzsche saw it in our desperate need for moral absolutes, our will to truth that masks a deeper will to power, the need to control an uncontrollable existence. Arthur Schopenhauer went further. We are prisoners of an insatiable will, forever chasing meaning like a donkey chasing a carrot on a stick. But why? Why do we cling to these systems even as they fail us? The psychology is certainty. The brain is a prediction machine. It craves patterns, rules, cause and effect. When faced with the unknown, it will invent explanations rather than sit with the discomfort of not knowing. This is the root of both religion and science, not truth, but survival. Cognitive dissonance makes us twist reality to fit our beliefs rather than admit we might be wrong. confirmation bias ensures we see only what aligns with our chosen dogma, whether it's scripture or peer-reviewed studies. The placebo effect of belief, faith in anything, a god, a theory, a political ideology, can soothe existential dread, even if it's an illusion. We don't just prefer answers, we need them. The moment we question our framework, we feel the abyss opening beneath us. That's why religious fundamentalists and militant atheists are so similar. Both are terrified of doubt. The philosophical trap. Jean-Paul Sartre called it bad faith, the lie we tell ourselves to avoid the burden of freedom. We pretend we have no choice, that our path is dictated by divine will or biological determinism. But this is a coward's escape. Viktor Frankl, who survived the Holocaust, saw the opposite. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Yet most of us refuse. We'd rather kneel to an ancient text or a lab-coated priest than face the terrifying truth. That meaning is not given, but made. Aldous Huxley warned of this in Brave New World. You can't play with the animal in man without rousing the animal. We trade transcendence for comfort, mystery for control. Religion and science in their worst forms are two sides of the same coin, both selling certainty at the price of wonder. The societal machine. This isn't just personal, it's systemic. Religion thrives on fear, of hell, of chaos, of moral decay. It offers order, but at the cost of intellectual submission. Science, when dogmatized, becomes its own orthodoxy. Peer review turns into peer pressure, skepticism into dogma. Both demand allegiance, both punish heretics, and both in their extremes erase the very thing that makes us human, the ability to question. But here's the twist, the thing they don't want you to realize. The failure isn't in the systems, it's in our refusal to see beyond them. You don't notice the cage until you try to move. That's the sinister genius of our mental prisons. They feel like safety. Religion and science, in their rigid forms, don't just shape what we think, they shape how we think. And the consequences are everywhere once you learn to see them. The death of wonder. A child asks, "Why is the sky blue?" Religion answers, "Because God made it so." Science answers, "Because of Rayleigh scattering." Both responses kill the mystery. One invokes divine decree, the other reduces poetry to physics. Neither leaves room for the child's next question. But why does it feel beautiful? We've been taught that every question must have an answer, preferably a quantifiable one. But some truths evaporate under scrutiny. Love isn't just oxytocin. Awe isn't just neural excitation. By dissecting the world, we risk losing the very thing that makes it worth studying. The illusion of control. Religion promises salvation through obedience. Science promises mastery through knowledge. Both whisper the same lie: you can outsmart suffering. But look around. The devout still get cancer. The rational still fall in love against their better judgment. The data-driven still stare at the stars and feel small. We've built cathedrals and particle colliders, yet anxiety and depression soar. Why? Because we're treating existential dread as a problem to be solved, rather than a reality to be lived. The tribal mind. The human brain didn't evolve for truth, it evolved for survival, and nothing ensures survival like belonging to a tribe. Religious tribalism. We have the one true faith. Scientific tribalism. We follow the evidence as long as it confirms our biases. The labels change, but the pattern remains. Us versus them. Believers versus heretics. peer-reviewed versus pseudoscience. The moment you question either camp's dogma, you become the enemy. This isn't just intellectual, it's biological. fMRI studies show that when our beliefs are challenged, the brain reacts as if under physical threat. We'd rather be wrong with the tribe than right alone. The silent war within. Here's the cruelest consequence. You've internalized the conflict. Your religious upbringing whispers, this is sinful. Your scientific training counters, that's irrational. But who's really speaking? Are these your thoughts or echoes of systems that needed you to fit their mold? The tragedy isn't that religion and science fail us. It's that we've let them define us. We've mistaken their tools for our identity. But there's a way out. One that doesn't require choosing sides. The chains are in your mind, which means the key is already in your hand. Breaking free doesn't mean rejecting religion or science, but transcending their limitations. This is the rebellion, to think so deeply that you outgrow the need for absolutes. The alchemy of doubt. Every paradigm shift in history began with 3 dangerous words. What if not? Galileo asked it of the church. Einstein asked it of Newton. You must ask it of your own assumptions. Doubt is not the enemy of truth. It's the scalpel that cuts away dogma. Try this. When religion says this is sacred, ask, why can't it be questioned? When science says this is proven, ask, until when? The goal isn't cynicism, but intellectual sovereignty. The third way Eastern philosophies have long understood what the West struggles to accept. Reality is not binary. Zen Buddhism's mu, unasking the question, Taoism's yin-yang, embracing paradox, quantum physics, wave-particle duality. The solution isn't choosing between faith and reason, but dancing in the space between them. Practical liberation, thought experiments. If God appeared and said your religion was wrong, would you still be moral? If science proved free will doesn't exist, would you stop making decisions? Cognitive rewiring. Replace I believe with I'm exploring. Treat certainty as a red flag. Existential fitness. Spend time in nature without labeling or analyzing practice holding 2 contradictory ideas simultaneously. The courage to be small. The ultimate rebellion? Admitting we don't and can't know everything. Like Nietzsche's Übermensch, we must become creators of meaning rather than consumers of dogma. But be warned, this path is lonely. You'll lose the comfort of tribes. You'll float in the cosmic dark with only your inner light. You've reached the edge of the map. Here, the compass spins wildly, and the old gods, whether theological or technological, fall silent. This is where the real work begins. The grand illusion. All along, you've been searching for an answer. But the ultimate truth is this. There is no answer, only the asking. Religion and science both fail because they try to end the conversation. The moment you claim to have the final word, you lose the thread of the infinite. Mystics know this. Why the Kabbalah says the Torah is black fire on white fire. The words matter less than the burning. Quantum physicists know this. Why Heisenberg said what we observe is not nature itself, but nature exposed to our method of questioning. Poets know this. Why Rilke wrote, "Live the questions now." The deepest truths aren't found in answers, but in better questions. The alchemy of perception reality isn't something we discover, it's something we participate in creating. Every belief system is a lens. Look through the telescope of science, and the universe becomes equations. Look through the stained glass of religion, and it becomes a cathedral. Look with naked awareness and it becomes you. This isn't relativism, it's the recognition that consciousness isn't a mirror reflecting reality. It's the light that makes reality visible at all. The cosmic joke. Here's the punchline. You are both more powerful and more insignificant than you ever imagined. More powerful because meaning flows through your attention. More insignificant because you're a speck in an indifferent universe. This tension isn't a problem to solve. It's the engine of existence. The crossfire between these truths is where life sparks. The way forward, become a conscious hypocrite. Hold beliefs lightly. Let your philosophy contradict itself. Just be aware when it does. Practice sacred skepticism. When a belief comforts you, ask, is this true or just comforting? When data satisfies you, ask, what am I not seeing? Build altars to uncertainty. Keep a journal of unanswerable questions. Create rituals around not knowing. The last lesson. At the end of his life, Wittgenstein, who dismantled the foundations of philosophy, said simply, tell them I've had a wonderful life. Not, I solved it or I believed correctly. Just, it was wonderful. That's the final rebellion, to stop seeking meaning like a lost object and instead live meaningfully. To stop arguing about the menu and taste the meal. The universe isn't a puzzle to solve, it's an experience to have. And you, right now, are how the cosmos knows itself.